Hello friends, welcome back to Hyper Games. My name is Joseph and today on PlayStation News, PS5 outsold Switch in Japan, Ratchet & Clank celebrates 20 years, a God of War Ragnarok review roundup, Kojima talks a studio acquisition and Blue Box conspiracy, and more. Let's get into them. PS5 outsold Switch in Japan. In a shocking turn of events, the PS5 has managed to outsell the Nintendo Switch in Sony's home country. According to Famitsu, Sony's console sold 34,000 units for the week ending October 30 over the 23,000 units that Nintendo Switch pulled for the same week. The reason was a huge stock increase for the console, which has been reflecting across the world in the last few months. The Switch is very dominant in Japan, constantly outselling the rest, so this comes as a surprise, even more with the top 2 selling games for the week being Splatoon 3 and Bayonetta 3. Will Sony be able to keep up like that? Probably not, but they're doing a good job right now. Ratchet & Clank celebrates 20 years. Sony and Insomniac are celebrating the Ratchet & Clank franchise with new content for Rift Apart and PlayStation Plus. Rift Apart is getting a free 20th anniversary armor bundle with the Marauder, Quest, Holoflux, Commando and Clank armors, all ready when you update the game to version 1.04. 5 Ratchet & Clank games join PlayStation Plus Premium streaming on November 15th, including the original Ratchet & Clank, Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, Deadlock and Tools of Destruction. I think they were previously on PlayStation Now, they removed them and now bring them back. The service now has a total of 10 games from the series. It's a shame all of them are streaming only. The original Ratchet & Clank launched on November 4, 2002 for PS2. Since then the series has seen 17 titles across PS2, PS3, PSP, PS4, PS5 and mobile, with the most recent being Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Which one is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. God of War Ragnarok review roundup. God of War Ragnarok reviews are already out and it's a masterpiece. As of this recording, it has a 94 overall score in both Metacritic and OpenCritic out of 120 and 130 reviews respectively. Simon Cary from IGN said it's an enthralling spectacle to behold and an even more exciting one to take the reins of. God of War Ragnarok melds action and adventure together to create a new, unforgettable Norse saga. Impeccable writing, pitch-perfect performances, knockout action, it's a complete work of art from top to bottom. Then from Push Square, Robert Ramsey said the game is phenomenal. Even amongst PlayStation Studios' typically stellar output, it's a showpiece. A masterfully crafted game that smashes expectations at almost every turn. The sheer, often ridiculous scope of Ragnarok makes 2018 God of War feel like a prologue, and that's perhaps the highest praise we can bestow upon a sequel. BGC's Jordan Middler concluded that God of War Ragnarok is an incredibly special game. It's vital in a way few releases are, with captivating performances that carry an amazing story to a jaw-dropping final act. It's a game that achieves everything it sets out to do to the absolute highest standard. Next is Mac Ashworth from PlayStation Lifestyle saying that while God of War Ragnarok manages to be better with its presentation, combat and exploration, its story falls a little flat with too many should-be standout moments failing to land. However, for those who can focus on the near-perfect journey rather than becoming all-consumed by the disappointing destination, Ragnarok delivers an epic sequel that is better in almost every way, further bolstering the catalog of must-play exclusives wielded by PlayStation. Last but not least is Tamur Hussein from GameSpot praising that Sony Santa Monica brings back what made the original God of War reboot great and delivers another fantastic story with exceptional writing. With these reviews, God of War Ragnarok is the second highest rated game of the year in OpenCritic, only behind Elden Ring by a point. It's also the top PS5 game when compared to the list of first-party titles Sony has released so far. In related news, Santa Monica has talked about the final list of accessibility options for the game on the PlayStation website, including over 70 options and presets. You can check the full list with the link in the description. And on a funny note, I recommend you to check the Japanese ad for God of War Ragnarok, as it contrasts the violence of the game with sorts of a kid show vibe. Hideo Kojima's Overdose gameplay leaked. A video showing gameplay from Kojima's upcoming game Overdose has appeared online. I'm not gonna show it here since Kojima Productions are taking them down. The video was recorded off-screen from a laptop and shows Margaret Qualley, who you may know as Mama in Death Stranding. She's walking down a dark corridor aiming with a flashlight as a mysterious figure stalks her from a distance. Then she gets into a room and hides behind a desk, still being chased by the mysterious figure. She shouts and the words "Game Over" and a Hideo Kojima game appear on screen. In multiple instances, when the mysterious figure is getting closer, a red dot appears on the screen, very similar to inputs in mobile games, which leads people to believe this is the Xbox Cloud project the creator is working on. Kojima is also working on Death Stranding 2, so the creator has plenty to announce soon. Hideo Kojima talks studio acquisition and Blue Box conspiracy. In the latest episode of Brain Structure, Hideo Kojima talks about several rumors and conspiracies around him. First, regarding a studio acquisition, the famous creator admitted they have been approached with offers from all over the world to buy the studio, and some of them are ridiculously high prices. He went further and said it's not about the money, but the reason he created the studio was to be able to make what he wants, so as long as he's alive, he doesn't think he will ever accept those offers. Did Sony approach him with an offer? He didn't mention any company, but it's very likely considering the affinity he has with the brand and recent visits from top Sony executives. Another thing he talked about in the podcast was the rumors that he was behind the Blue Box studio under a pseudonym working on an upcoming Silent Hill game. He said people would send him photos of Hassan Karaman, the studio director, with deepfakes of Kojima's face, like 20 a day. The reason for that was Hassan's initials HK led people to believe it was Kojima alongside a huge list of Easter eggs that created an entire Reddit around the mystery. Kojima then remembered when he did the Moby Dick Studios marketing stunt for the Phantom Pain with Geoff Keighley involved, saying people should know he wouldn't do the same thing twice. I must correct Kojima here because he did the same trick twice, with PT launching from a studio with the pseudonym of 7780s Studio, even if not with as much fanfare. Blue Box Game Studios thanked Kojima for addressing the conspiracy via tweet and asked fans to stop harassing him about Abandon. I'm glad this one is over. One of the things I've mentioned previously is that Kojima in both instances delivered something about the games he was working on. While Abandon marketing, if it had been a stunt, has been very sloppy with only a 4-second teaser so far, and we still don't know anything about the game. What do you think about all this Kojima news? Sound off in the comments. A round of quickfire game news. In their latest weekly newsletter, Bungie said a notable number of PS5 players are still playing the PS4 version of Destiny 2 in their current gen console, asking them to make sure they have the correct one installed so they can see improvements in graphics and frame rate. Remember, you can access your collection to see which version is installed. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has re-enabled weapon attachments after they were causing issues, but a new update fixed a number of them on Thursday. In regard to issues about the Vault Edition rewards, they have decided to reward the owners of any Modern Warfare 2 Vault Edition with 10 hours double XP and weapon XP tokens. Activision officially announced via Twitter that Messi, Neymar and Pogba are arriving to Call of Duty for a new type of mode. For anyone excited about the Parasite Eve return, Square Enix has announced that Symbiogenesis is an NFT collection up for sale. Nothing else to see here. Focus Entertainment has announced that the recently released A Plague Tale Requiem has reached 1 million players as they embark on a new incredible journey alongside Amicia and Hugo. PS5 exclusive Ghostwire Tokyo is already listed for Xbox on the Bethesda offices. This is unsurprising as the game was a 1-year console exclusive, so the game should be ready to launch on Xbox Series consoles by March 2023. Siphon Filter 3 has been rated in Korea for PS4 and PS5, so the title will likely join the PlayStation Plus service in the coming months. Dark Mirror and Logan Shadow were also previously rated, so they could be launched on Plus soon as well. If you are playing or were planning to play Ride 4, MXGP 2021, any of the games in the Mafia trilogy, or Gridfall, you should do it soon as all these titles leave the service on November 15th. This is the most amount of titles leaving the service in a single month since it was changed in June. And Sony is still not clear on what games leave, having you find out by other sources or checking the full library one by one. In an interview via Famitsu, Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida talked about the game's release, saying the game is about 95% complete, with the team focusing on fixing bugs. He also said they plan to announce release date information later this year. A new title joins PlayStation VR 2 launch day on February 22, 2023. Swordman VR is a story-driven physics-based medieval combat game from Sin Studio that joins Horizon Call of the Mountain and Cities VR as confirmed launch games. Dotemu has announced that TMNT Shredder's Revenge will arrive on PS5 this November 15 in digital and physical versions via limited run games in the US and merged games in Europe. They said this version is identical to the PS4 one with no additional features or content, the only difference being that one runs native and the other via backwards compatibility. No free upgrade will be offered to anyone who owns the PS4 version. And those are our PlayStation stories for today. What do you think about the God of War Ragnarok reviews? And what about the recent Hideo Kojima news? Share Share your thoughts on any of the news below, let me know your feedback by liking or disliking this video, check out other videos you may enjoy while you're here, and consider subscribing for more on PlayStation. Thank you so much for watching, my name is Joseph, this is Hype for Games, and let's get hype!